Okay, let's briefly discuss how we would indicate that there was a substitute teacher instead of the responsible party who taught the class that day. We're going to go under the listed responsible party for that class, and we'll make changes there. So let's go into our View Copy icon, which we know brings up a new tab. And the first thing we're going to do is start to take attendance as normal. So we're going to change the date of this session. Today's date, and now we're going to save this session as new. Remember, we're taking a snapshot of this master for today's attendance. So now we see the word master was eliminated from the session description. So we are going to now be able to indicate that there was a substitute for this class on this day. If you notice, the session that I chose to use as an example has more than one responsible party, and what this says right now is that there were 4 people who teach this class. We would expect this class to be very large if there were that many responsible parties attached to it, but this is our example. When we add a substitute, you'll see it's populating for me. We're going to add the word sub, and then we're going to add the name of the person who was the substitute for that class. What this is indicating is that instead of these 4 people who are normally in this class, Marcia Hunter was the substitute for the class on this day. You could have more than one substitute. If you had a really big class, if you had 4 teachers, you probably would have more than one sub, etc., etc. But in this session description box is where we will indicate that there was a substitute. We will not add Marcia to this list because that would tell us that there were more than one person present. This tells us that Marcia was the person who taught the class instead of these people on that day. Now that we've made that change, we're going to update the session. Again, this is just today's attendance. We're updating the title, that session description, so that it accurately reflects who the teacher was. And now we can go ahead and take attendance as usual, removing the students who were absent. Once we're satisfied, we're going to close that tab and click refresh so that we can see that attendance. And here it is. Here's our attendance with our substitute listed. If you, for example, forgot at some point to add the sub and you realize you need to go back and do that, you can always go back and change any session. So we'll go to the View Copy. Once again, it opens up an additional tab. We're going to add the word sub, and it seems Marcia Hunter is a sub for a lot of my classes in my examples. So now we're changing just this class because she happened to substitute quite a few times on this day. Update session. We're going to close this tab, click our refresh button, and now we see this 3rd grade that she was the sub for this class. So that is how you indicate that there is a sub. We write it in the session description, and that is the only place.